love the boy. These girls love the boy. They love the boy. These girls love the boy. These girls love the boy. They love the boy. These girls love the boy. These girls love the boy.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Mark, and I'm back with another video. And as you can see from the title of this video, I'm gonna become real transparent in this video. I want to talk about bullying. And I was thinking about this topic because I woke up this morning and I thought about how a lot of things have shaped me and helped mold me into the person that I am today. And I feel like I can share some of my experiences and the advice that I've learned over the course of the years on how to deal with bullies and how to get over the hurt and the pain that I experienced by being bullied. I can remember one of the first times I was bullied. I was 8 years old. It was basically, I had confided in a friend, and my great-grandmother, who I was raised by, had came and picked me up from school one day. And I used to call my great-grandmother Mom. And so a lot of people were looking at me like, well, why is he calling this old lady his mother? And I internalized that a lot. And the person who I thought was my friend, I confided in them and told them basically that my mom had gave me away, that she didn't want me. Because as you may have known from my first video, I spoke about how my mom battled with alcoholism and drug addiction and prostitution, and that my biological father, he was a big drug dealer. So I confided in this person who I considered as a friend and told them that my great-grandmother had taken custody of me, and they kind of stabbed me in the back and went around to the whole class telling them that basically my mom didn't want me, and that I didn't have a mother, and that I didn't have a father, and that basically I was a nobody, and had everybody turn against me, and they kind of basically bullied me from that. And that was like one of the reasons why I had stopped calling my great-grandmother Mom. She never knew this, and she still doesn't know this because she passed away. And it was always a thing where her friend would be like, well, why don't you call your great-grandmother Mom? And I had internalized that because it was so hurtful, to the point where people were saying, oh, you're a nobody, you're nothing, that I almost committed my first suicide when I was 8 years old. I tried to lock myself in my room, and I set it on fire because I not only wanted to burn the hate that I had for myself, but I also wanted to burn the hate that I had for my mom and my dad because they didn't want me. And I also wanted to burn the hate that those kids had towards me. And no kid should have to go through that, let alone no adult either should have to go through being bullied and have to feel like they are worthless, because nobody in this world is worthless. And that's why I take this big approach on being so positive and trying to be so jovial and just try to uplift the few friends that I have and just try to check on them constantly and daily and just making sure that they're all right, because I take my friendship seriously because of the simple fact that people can say, kids and people and adults can say some pretty hurtful things, and it's kind of hard. I don't see how I could grow up now where cyberbullying is such a big thing, because when you're at home, home is supposed to be a safe space. And I couldn't imagine being a kid now, because when you're at school, you're being picked on, and then when you come home, you still have to run into those Twitter thugs. You have to run into those Facebook thugs, those Instagram thugs, those email thugs who's going to sit there and type behind a keyboard and sit there and pick with you and pick at you. And so many kids and teenagers have lost their lives over foolishness for no reason, because people have bullied them. And people try to sit there and say that things get better. And I know that my grandmother, she used to just say, love the hell out of them and love the evilness out of them, and that as long as they don't put their hands on you, that you're okay. But sometimes you wish that those people would have put their hands on you, because scars heal, words don't. and you kind of internalize that. And I internalized so much as a child, and I kept a lot of that baggage with me, where I had people who would constantly talk about me because of my eyes. There was a time that one time I didn't like my eyes when I was in high school, and I remember I would sit there and buy color contacts, like real dark color contacts, because I used to be called praying mantis. I used to get called a lizard. I used to get called just different things, and I would come home crying to like my foster parents, and I used to sit there and be like, am I really animalistic? Am I really ugly to people? Because this is how the world views me. And I had to sit there and realize that I'm not going to give those people my power, and I'm going to have to take that power back and take control of my life and not sit there and let those people affect me. There was also another time I remember where I used to get picked on a lot in school because I was a nerd. And I used to always raise my hand in school, in class. And I used to sit there and answer questions, to the point where people used to pick on me and sit there and say, oh, you're a dork, you're a nerd. And I remember getting punched and bullied. Nobody wanted to sit next to me. People would call me like a faggot and gay and homo, because I was very animated with the way I used to speak, and because I spoke with my hands, that no guys wanted to sit with me. So I had to sit there. So there were times when during lunchtime where I didn't even sit with people, and I would have to skip, and I would be forced to sit in the hallway because nobody wanted to be around me, and nobody wanted to sit with me, because not only could I not escape it in the classroom, I couldn't even escape it at lunch. And then even when I was at home, I felt like I couldn't escape it, because when I was living with my mother after my great-grandmother died, I still had the problems of my mom battling with her alcoholism, her drug addiction, her prostitution, and then also us having to live in homeless shelters, and just seeing the different men that was in and out of her life, and her being abused, and witnessing the rape of my mom. Also me being molested, and just people, and a lot of that took a real mental toll on me, and it made me hate myself, to the point where I just became very closed off and closed-minded to people, and I didn't want to be around people. So I think one of the main things that I did to sit there and separate myself from that hurt and that pain was to write. I wrote a lot, and I write a lot of poetry, and I still do, because basically the pen and paper was basically my friend. Me being able to write my thoughts, me being able to express my thoughts, it gave me an escape from the harsh reality of what the world was trying to box me into. And like I said, my sexuality got called into question a lot of times, because my voice was kind of higher when I was in school, because like I said again, I was animated with the way I used to speak and things like that in that nature. And that was one of the reasons why I chose my thesis and what I'm speaking about now, about black masculinity, and that black masculinity is not a monolithic masculinity, and that black men can come in all different different way of speaking, different way of approaches, different way of interpreting themselves as men, different way of expressing themselves. And I just wanted to say that the advice that I can give for somebody who's ever being bullied is to sit there and find something that you enjoy doing, and something that makes you feel good, to be able to separate you from that negative that's going on. For me, it was writing. For you, it may be playing some type of sports. It may be playing some type of fantasy video game. It may be writing in a journal. But just find something that you can do to separate yourself, so that you don't have to internalize a lot of that hurt and a lot of that pain that people will try to express and throw at you, because you don't want to become that statistic where somebody is turning on the news and saying, oh, I used to know that person and now they hung themselves, or they put a gun to their head and they shot themselves. Oh, they took pills and overdosed. And I deal a lot with that even at my job now, because of the simple fact that I work for a hospital, and so one of the hospitals that I oversee is basically a children's hospital, and I see how a lot of kids come through and they have to deal with bullying, and I see like a lot of girls who get picked on because of their weight and the way that they look and their hair, and I see a lot of guys who sit there and get picked with because of the same things and because of their family situation and just things like that in general. And I just want to say that it does get better. Like, it's not a lie when people say that it gets better, but the reason why it gets better is because you're able to differentiate certain things, and because when you're younger, you don't know how to sit there, and the only thing you can do is internalize and say, why doesn't nobody like me? Why doesn't nobody want me? Why doesn't nobody want to be around me? But as you get older, you begin to become more self-loving and more aware of yourself, and knowing that if somebody doesn't like you, who cares? And that's what I had to learn. Who cares if this person doesn't like me, or who cares if that person doesn't like me? I had to get to a point in my life where I had to love myself and not give people my power, and just to know that things get better as you get older. And that's why I use a lot of humor I use a lot of humor when I approach certain things, because I never want somebody to feel the rejection and the hurt that I had to feel as a child and as a teenager growing up. So I just wanted to bring this video to you guys to just become more transparent and share a little information about myself and just how you should be able to deal with bullying, and to not let it get to you, and to just be yourself. Anybody who sits there and tries to stand against you, remember, your differences make you who you are. A lot of people will laugh at you for being you, but you can laugh at them because they want to be everybody else. And that's what I had to learn. I had to sit there and learn that, yeah, you might laugh at me because I'm different. You may laugh at me because I express myself a different way. You may laugh at me because of the way I dress. You may laugh at me because of the way I look. You may laugh at me because of my appearance, my eyes. You may laugh at me because I had to grow up in the foster care system. I grew up poor. But one thing you can't laugh at is my success, and the way that and the role that I paid for myself, and the avenue that I gave for myself to be able to put myself on a platform such as YouTube, to be able to express my feelings and to be able to help someone else out there who may be experiencing the same hurt and the same pain I had to go through as a child. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to leave my email in a link below. I'm going to leave my social media. I'm going to leave my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Twitter. If you have any questions of anything, of any source that you want to learn how you can sit there, if you're experiencing bullying in any sorts of way and how you can be able to handle it, just hit me on my social media or my email, and I'll be able to answer those questions in another video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And you don't even have to subscribe, because really I was just doing this video to show people that there are people, to show other people that there are people who have experienced hurt and pain. But it's what you do with that hurt and pain which makes you who you are and makes you uniquely you. And I had to be able to love myself and know that it's okay to be different. And one more thing that I wanted to say, that the crazy thing is, like my foster dad said, that your life always comes full circle. And about a couple months ago, I received a Facebook message from an old classmate, and he emailed me, and he basically apologized for all the hurt and all the pain that he calls me, and that he said that he wished he would have got to know the person who I am, and that he was battling with a lot of issues himself, and that he wanted to fit in with the in crowd. So that's why he put me through the hurt and the pain that I went through, because he wanted to mask and hide the pain that he was going through. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that information, that your life will always come full circle, and that God never puts you in a situation that you can't handle. And I feel like God has put me through the things that he has put me through, that has allowed me to have thick skin and to be able to be on this platform now, to be able to express my feelings and to be able to express some of my ideas and thoughts without caring what anybody thinks or how anybody views me, or without any judgment, because he has put me through so much that nobody's words or nobody's hateful speech is going to silence me and silence my voice. And one more thing, I'm sorry, is I remember one foster care youth like myself came up to me and asked me, why was I always quiet and observant? And why are you hiding your voice from the world? Because you have so much input and so much life experience and so much joy and so much thought and so much wisdom that you can express to people. Why silence your voice? And I told him that the reason why I silenced my voice is because I gave so many people in my past my power. And I used to internalize and used to feel like I needed people's validation to make me feel better about myself. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with is, never allow somebody to project their insecurities and their pains and their hurts off on you, because you are awesome, you are amazing, and you're going to do beautiful things. And this is Mark. Remember, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm signing off. Peace and love. Deuces.